going on, guys? We're gonna check out the California Delta today. It's pretty much the only thing that's open, so we're gonna fish a little shallow today, looking for kind of the spawning bass, you know, pre-spawn, post, present, all that kind of stuff. It's about, I don't know, it's a little, I think it's like 7:15, a little late for me. We got to kind of play with Mother Nature here. We want the tides to be kind of just right. You can see here that we're kind of right on the mark where the tide's coming up. I mean, that's just a preference thing. I kind of like to fish in a little bit higher tide, but yeah, let's see if we could find some fish and some spawning areas. Cool. You know, we got to start with some top water. Oh, I just got whapped right there. Oh, yeah. Oh. Ah. Well, that was a good fish. Nothing is working. Plan A is not working. It's at the end of Grant Line Canal. It's all old river. The problem is, because it's at the end of Grant Line, any sort of movement of water with the tides and such, you're gonna get a lot of current in those areas. So went down there, kind of Hail Marying that area. That's why I left so fast. The current was rushing too much. I didn't like it, wasn't feeling right. So we went on to plan B. It is an area that has a little bit more sand. It has a couple tuck-in back spots where you can flip some trees and stuff like that. That's where I got hit on the old chatterbait. Oh! And I got smoked on that frog you just saw. So as you guys can see though, the water is not clear at all. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 8 inches to 10 inches of clarity, pretty stained. So when you're in that kind of water, obviously you want to be throwing, you know, your darker colors, you know, black and blue chatterbait. And then, you know, one of these Terminator frogs. I really like the open mouth, kind of calls fish from a distance. You know, and then obviously we're flipping, you know, our darker baits at the DeBombs here. These things are pretty sweet. I've caught a lot of fish on them. And then this is where things get a little interesting. So now we enter into Plan C, which I really wasn't even planning on doing. Plan C is definitely an area where you have to have high tide. If you guys know Old River at all, some of those stretches are 50 yards from shore to shore, and they kind of snake around. There's one connection point that connects those two areas, and that connection point is only at its highest peak about, you know, 4 feet deep, maybe 5 feet deep in some areas. If you try to fish that in low tide, most likely you can't even get back there. But if you get stuck in there during low tide, then you have a problem. What I decided to do is I started thinking these fish are definitely not chasing. Okay, they're not running around and chasing shad, chasing frog, chasing things right now. I mean, yeah, sure, I got a couple hits, but you know, something's up. I think with this weather being so hot for the last couple of weeks with the spawn, that these fish have just calmed down, they're exhausted and they're hot. So you really have to knock on their door. Throwing these guys, you know, at them, flipping them and stuff like that, that'll work, you know, I'm sure it will. It wasn't working today. So that's when I picked up the robo worm. The robo worms are sweet, all right? Now, this one in particular, fat straight tail, it's a 6-inch, okay? What I decided to do was start drop shotting. You saw me kind of drop shot a little bit back in that little canal and stuff. I was drop shotting with a fat tail here, but something was not working with these guys. So what I decided to do was just simply make one little tiny decision. And that decision was switching from a fat tail here to just a typical straight tail. Same color, same length, a little thinner. Literally, guys, it made all the difference. I was starting to get bit. Oh my God. Finally. Oh my God. Ah. Feels like a decent fish. I think we might have figured him out. I'm just running 7-pound tests, so I'm gonna net these fish. There we go. All right, I think we figured it out. Give my worm back. Well, a 1.5 pounds, close to 2-pounder. Here we go. That's 3 fish, 3 bites at least, in a matter of about 10 casts out of nowhere. Oh. Right on that log. There we go. We kind of figured him out. Another one. This might have a little bit of weight to him. Oh, that's a decent fish. All right. Decent. Whew, just skin hooked. Look at that. There we go. There's 2-pounder, 2 and some change. I think we got them figured out. You see, I like this weedless. Not a lot of guys like it. The hooks are kind of big. I like it around wood like that. These weed guards. They seem to be up on the wood just hugging it in this dirty water. See, if I didn't have that weed guard on, I would have been stuck right there. I rolled it right over like 3 branches. It seems to screw up the hook sets, but definitely not fun getting snagged. Oh, nice fish. Little guy. Weed guard didn't hurt that one. There we go. Nice little adjustment. Starting to have some fun. And you're just sitting right on this log right here. During the spawning period, it's always smart to give it one more throw whenever you catch a male like that. You never know if that female is just sitting right under there, and now you're hooking into trophies. These are still fun. You know, I could do this all day, but it's nothing better than setting the hook on a 6-pounder. Come on, let's get in there. Get in there now. There we go. This tree is only about 1 foot deep. They're kind of hanging on like, you know, 3 feet. But you never know what bed you're going to bring that thing across. Right in that frickin' damn sky bass. Damn 7-pound test, huh? Uh-oh. Ooh. Things are mean today. There you go. It's a small limit, but it's nice. Better than what was going on. Tip of the day, boys. After you bring them out of concrete or wood, check your line. Always check your line. That crap is frayed. I know a lot of guys that don't check their line, and then their life flashes before their eyes after they lose a giant. Let's see how many times we can reuse this worm. That was a fish. Should still be right there. But I don't know. You should have ripped my worm in half if it was. I don't know. Nice fish. There we go. Healthy. Worm is still intact. Ah, you little jerk. Okay, it's about that time. What's up, guys? Decided to turn around, not only because it's hot, but when the tide gets going and it starts letting out these little back sloughs inches deep. You can get pretty stuck back here and start pushing around. So check it out, guys. We all know that if you take fishing very seriously and you are a very experienced fisherman, whether it's bass fishing, cat fishing, trout fishing, panfish fishing, you know, like perch, bluegill, things like that, you know when a change needs to be made. Now, we all know that when it is hot out and the fish slow down because it's hot, especially bass, okay? So we're talking about bass. When these bass slow down and you're in murky water, all right? And it's during like this spawning period, we know that switching over to a nice robo worm drop shot is the way to go. The MM3, it's a fat tail. We all know you could be throwing this and you're very confident with when you decide to make that move because you're not getting bit, but you're still very confident with this bait. The experienced bass fisherman will switch over to its little sister. This is the exact same color, the exact same length. It is literally just a straight tail, okay? You have the two differences here. One is fatter, one is smaller. Now guys, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna be the guy that just says that that's what you have to do. We all know that they're just fish. I might have been able to put both these types of worms in the exact same area and got bit by the same fish. Two things would have happened right there. I switched over worms from the fat tail to the straight tail, and at the exact same time, the fish all of a sudden decided to start biting. Pretty coincidental, but it can happen. Or we can go as far as saying that, you know, you made the right move and that's what the fish wanted. If you could tell me the difference between these two in the 2 seconds it hits into water, into murky water, I'll give you a prize. It's pretty difficult to see that kind of stuff. So, but anyways, when it comes down to it, guys, just know that sometimes just making the smallest adjustment makes all the difference. And you go from skunking out, scratching your head, to limiting out and having a good day of fishing. So when it's not working, guys, you can always find one. This was the trick, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was pretty fun going into the shallows and stuff like that. You just got to make the right moves, see your environment the way it is, and keep fishing and just stay on them. And if you make the right moves, you should be pretty good. All right, see you next time.